I'm like, what's the dream of? What's the hope in? What's the doubt for? Live to no end. This is living. The life I've been given is a gift. If I'm a living, I'm a live at the death. So what's the dream of? What's the hope in? What's the doubt for? And live to no end. This is living. The life I've been given is a gift. If I'm a living, I'm a live at the death. Yeah.
Welcome, everybody, to the Living Hope Agency Call. I couldn't be more excited for our special guest, Mr. Michael Shroades. He is top producer, top manager, somebody who leads from the front. And I mentioned this in all the call promotions, but what impresses me most about Mike is that he has an agency at the size where he doesn't necessarily have to sell insurance, but he's so passionate about helping clients that he's still out there posting selfies with clients 4 or 5 days a week. So I respect him so much. And I know there's a mutual respect that each of us have for each other, just because it's a rare breed when you become a top manager to still be out in the field helping clients. And, we're going to hear from him really kind of what drives him tonight, why he's doing that. So Mike, thanks so much for joining us, man.
Yeah, Jamie, it's a real honor to be on here, man. I appreciate you and all your kind words. You have a great team there, it looks like. And congratulations to Josh on passing his exam and also Elton getting his number one, getting that first one in the books, man. That's exciting.
Yes.
It's even more exciting when you get paid.
Yes, it is. So, Mike, I'd love if you could just share with us just your background. I mean, obviously how you found out about Family First Life, what you did before this, any other opportunities you've maybe been a part of, and kind of what was special about Family First Life to you.
Yeah. Thank you once again for the opportunity. Let's see, I've been in all 5.5 years, and Mike Killamette. Do you know Mike, Jamie? Okay.
Mike, yep.
Yeah, so Mike Killamette pursued me for about 7 years before I ever got involved. So I could have come in when him and Sean and all those guys were getting into life insurance at the same time. And it just didn't click with me at the time. But my background is I have a degree in theology. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but that's what my degree is in. I pastored for nearly 25 years. And I ran a couple small businesses. And also what I did some work for the federal government. And I can't tell you what I did or I have to kill everybody on here. So no, I'm just kidding. So I did population surveys. Like when Obamacare was rolling out, I had to go in and do all the national health statistics, things like that. Once I got working with that, had some small businesses. The economy slowed down. There became a real need to really just to better myself, to be quite honest with you. I'd stepped away from the ministry for a little while, basically due to my wife's health and probably a little bit of my health as well. My mental health just needed a break from it. But yeah, man, did ministry, worked for the federal government, ran my own businesses. If you're wondering what I did, I used to have a very large eBay business in right around the year 2000 up through 2010. Very large eBay business. Owned a scrap metal business. Just anything I could hustle and make a dime with, man.
That's incredible. So I think, one thing I love about your story, we talk about this all the time in Living Hope, is that there's really two kinds of stories that attract new recruits into Family First Life. There's the, if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. And then there's the, if he can do it, I can do it. And you take the guy who was already super successful in insurance sales or solar sales, huge sales organization. You see these, the Bradleys of the world, and you go, you know what, if it's good enough for Bradley, it's good enough for me. And then you get the people, humble beginnings, and you say, if he can do it, I can do it. So, what would your advice be for somebody who maybe looks at this and says, hey, I've never been in sales before, but I am a hustler. I'm somebody that has, a hard work ethic, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I don't know if I can actually do it. What would your advice for that person be?
Well, number one, I think the first thing I would say is stay humble. I think sometimes people come in like, oh, maybe even if they do come from sales, I'm really good on the phone. I don't have problems with the phone. Those are the guys that usually cry to me the most about being on the phone. They really find out they're not all that good. I think the biggest thing is be humble. And when you start experience success, I mean, Sean coined this, it's nothing new. Stay hungry, man. I think a lot of times, whenever there is whenever there's a little bit of fear or a little bit of being tentative about something, that's okay. But the thing is, I think if you're just getting started in this and you're new to this business and you say you're a hustler, do that exactly. Go out and hustle. Go out and make a complete and utter mess of this. I wrote my first policies on yellow notebook paper because I didn't know to take applications. Do you know that story, Jamie?
No, I never heard that story, but I'd love to hear it.
Oh, dude. So my very first day in the field was April 1st, ironically, April Fool's Day, 2017. Killamet had sent me leads. I didn't know what to do. I called him and said, hey, I'm the one that got the form that you filled out, sir. And my job's just to come over and see what you qualify for. And had like 7 or 8 people my very first day say, okay, yeah, come on over. So I went over. I will try to condense this as much as possible. So my very first appointment I get to him, Jamie, and his name is Chester. I'll never forget. It's my first appointment, Birmingham, Alabama. And I'm up there and I go in, I had my, the little like portfolio things that you slide the yellow notebook pad down in. Well, I had one of those and I had the lead and that was all I knew. And I went in and I met with this guy and he was an older guy. And of course I didn't know nothing, had about $140,000 mortgage. He had every disease known to man. And I assured him I could get him a term to cover the whole thing. Right. So, I'm going over the whole thing. And here's the funny thing, Jamie, this is what everybody just cracks up on. So I get my yellow notebook pad out and I just start taking notes about this guy, right? I get all of his health issues, all the medications he's taken. I get his full name, his beneficiaries. He gives me his social security number and I write it down in the yellow notebook page, right? He gives me a voided check, gets out his ID, and I get my camera out of my phone and I take a picture of it, right? So I get all this information. I'm sitting here on a yellow notebook pad. And honestly, guys, because I just didn't know what to do. The only reason I knew what questions to ask about his health, I listened to one training that Paul McLean did, and I memorized all the health questions that he talked about. So I go in, I do all this thing. Lo and behold, I get ready to leave. And after, I've assured him of all this, and then he's assured me he couldn't do it. He said, aren't I supposed to sign something? I said, yes, you are. And I put an X, no lie, Jamie. I put an X at the bottom of the page. I wrote a line and he signed it, right? So listen, I leave there. Mike, I call Killamet. It's my first appointment, big sale. I mean, it's a pretty good sale. He's like, dude, just keep going, guy. Go to my next appointment, same day, do the same thing. Get the guy agrees to the price, everything. I did that like 5 or 6 times that day. I had 5 or 6 yellow notebook pages that I thought were applications that I had to turn into Mike's girls, that they would scrub and submit it to the right company for me, right? So I call Killamet. I'm like, man, I'm getting them all. He's like, awesome, dude, keep going. We're both pumped up, texting back and forth. So at the end of the day, I call him. I said, dude, I can't believe this. I sold all those. He said, great, turn those applications in. And I said, Mike, there's been a verbiage change here. What applications? I just took all the notes down and wrote everything down. And Mike said, wait a minute, you did all this but what about their social? I said, I got all their socials. He said, they all gave you their socials? I said, yeah. What about their beneficiaries? Got all their beneficiaries. Okay, well, did you get a voided check? I got a voided check for every single person I went in. He said, they gave you all this stuff and you just wrote it on. He said, what about their signatures? I said, I put an X at the bottom of the page and they all signed, Mike. And he says, well, that's not how you're supposed to do it. He said, but damn, you're going to be good, man. excuse my French, but that's what he said.
Wow, that's incredible. That's amazing. It reminds me, not quite as intense, but like one of Mike Curry's first appointments, he comes out and he goes, "Hey, they said they couldn't afford it." I go, "Did you ask them their budget?" And he's like, "I didn't even know I was supposed to ask about their budget." And he's like, "Okay, next time." And then, it's cool because now he's a Hall of Fame producer, but it's just proof, guys, you don't have to start and be good. But if you have that work ethic, the tenacity, and just that heart to serve people, then obviously it can be huge. So my big question for you before we get into like more like specific stuff, Mike, is, you're how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I will be 53 August 20th.
All right, so you're 53. You have an agency that's helping over 1,000 families a month, which is a pretty big deal. You're a board member here. There's some great, agency bonuses and things involved in that. But why are you in the field? What motivates you to keep running? Like, what really is that driving factor? I don't know if it's a why, but like, where does that desire come from when you don't have to be in the field, but you want to be, and you're out there 4 or 5 days a week serving families? You put a challenge up that you were going to run 300 appointments in March, and I watched you go do it. And that was incredible. And it was motivating. Like, where does that motivation come from?
Well, thank you. Number one, Jamie, it comes internally. I'm not one of the guys that needs a pep talk. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of those people that needs a rah-rah session. Never have been. Ever since I was young and pretty successful in athletics, ever since I was young, I just never needed the pep talk, the rah-rah. I just went out and did it. I think it's because of maybe the community I come from. I come from a small town in West Virginia, just outside of Pittsburgh, steel mill type of community, blue collar worker. Just freaking don't make any excuses. Get up and go to work, man. And my why is on, and this is not to be cheesy or not to, my why is my family. That's why I work so hard. A lot of people don't know this about my family, but my wife, my 2 children who are adults, and my 3 grandkids all suffer with the same disease. And when the time comes that they need medical attention, I don't want to be the guy that says, "Hey, I can't afford to have it done." So I get out and I hustle and I work hard because I want to provide for my family. And the biggest thing is, I know there's going to come a day, probably within the next 3 or 4 years, where my wife will need some serious medical help. And I don't want to be the guy that doesn't have the ability to write a check if I need to do it. She's my number one. She's my biggest supporter as well.
It's inspiring, man. Thank you for sharing that and being super transparent with us. How many kids do you have?
I have 2 that I know of.
Okay, fair enough. You got the jokes, man. I appreciate you keeping it light.
Hey,
okay.
Listen, when you're a pastor and you give that answer, it's really real. They don't know how to take it.
Fantastic. So talk to us a little bit about mindset for a new agent. So you get a new agent started, they come in. What does your conversation with them look like about leads, especially if somebody's never worked leads before? They come here to Family First Life and they go, "Oh, do I have to buy leads? Like what is a lead? And what does that conversation look like with the new agent who's never experienced buying leads and what it can do for them?"
Yeah, I think the best way for me to explain that to them is I make it sound like I help them understand you are going to be a business owner. And in business, if you have a business, you have to have inventory. So what I try to do is I try to explain lead purchasing as inventory. I think that's just a very simple way for people to understand it, because if you're going to make money in business, you have to have something to sell. Okay, so that's where I say that's where our investment comes. And I try to explain to them, this is not an investment. Family First Life does not make a bunch of money off of you buying your leads. You getting the leads and purchasing the leads, that is an investment in yourself. And I try to explain to them, they're like, well, can we, a lot of them will ask, well, can we get leads elsewhere? Or I love this, Jamie. They all say, well, I would like to go on Facebook and maybe do something and try to generate my own leads. Well, number one, that takes a specific skill to be able to generate leads like that. And the other thing, I don't know that we need, I think there's a danger that a new agent falls into trying to reinvent the wheel. And I fell into that danger. I was at the beginning, I was trying to do everything and create everything. And then one day I just got smart, and probably through Mike Killaman's guidance, I just realized there's a system here in place. We at Family First Life, we are a lead driven company. That is cool because these people want insurance and they're requesting the information. We purchase the lead, and it's not like I'm showing up offering you a free toaster and then going to turn that into, hey, I'm going to sell you some life insurance now. I like it because we can be direct. We don't have to be cute. We don't have to try to trick. We don't have to use trickery or anything like that. Hey, Jamie, I'm the one that got the form that you filled out, and I'm the one that can get you what you're looking for. That's the conversation. So what I try to do is I try to encourage them. It used to be, Jamie, I'll be honest with you. When I first began this, I was real tentative about it because I knew it required them to invest money, right? And I was really tentative about sharing it. And now I just tell everybody, look, you need $1,000 a week. You're going to start at $1,000 a week, $500 for each. If you're full-time, you need to be prepared to spend $500. And I tell them they're leads, they're not sales. And that's something I think that's very important. I think when you come into the business, you maybe just assume the lead is a sale. Well, it's not. A lead is a lead. No matter where you get your lead from or what type of lead it is, a lead is a lead. And I think it's very important that everybody understands that's where the work comes in. You now have to get on the phone to set the appointment or do whatever it is that you do so that you can now use your inventory and make money for your business.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I buy 100 leads. I'm not going to sell all 100 of them. And anybody who has that in their mind is just absolutely delusional. Guys, if you get 100 leads, and I don't care if 85 of them told me to pound sand, didn't answer, bad phone number, wrong email, and I could complain and say 85 of these were wrong. But if 15 of them let me book an appointment, we're off to the races. 15 book an appointment, 5 of them no-show me, I sit with 10, I sell 5. Average premium, $80 a month. Average commission, $1,000. You just gave me 2 more tries. Now I got 2 more tries, and next time my ROI might be a little bit better. So for me, people ask the question, hey, if you took everything away from you, could you build it again? And I say, if you took everything from me and you said your rent's due in a couple weeks and you can either buy leads or pay rent, I'm buying leads all day, because you can develop a skill set here where even if you have a bad dial day, bad dial week, and you help one, you get another try. But here's the deal is you can get to a point where you help, 4 or 5 families in a day, 20 families in a week, 50 families in a month. And it's possible if you're willing to learn this skill set and become a student of the game. So Mike, for you, what would you say are the couple of, like, if you could say, there's a couple basics that you have to master, like, hey, if you want to be a master, you have to master the basics. Like what are those basics for a new agent?
Oh man, I compare it to free throw shooting. Like Steph Curry, the best free throw shooters in the world. What do, Jamie? They do the same thing every single time. So that would be the number one thing, is just be consistent, do the same thing over and over and over. Like, people ask me a lot of times about my phone script. They're like, Mike, you don't tie it down. You don't do this. You don't do that. My phone script is 36 seconds and I'm off the phone.
Well, we got to hear it now, man, because mine's like 3.5 minutes and I do every tie down in the book. So we need some contrast here. Okay. You ready? Yes.
Hey, Jamie.
Yeah, this is Jamie.
Hey, Jamie, this is Mike Shroades, and I'm the one that got that form you filled out for the state regulated life insurance. You remember that? It came in the mail for Oregon citizens.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, great. Well, I'm the one licensed by the state of Oregon to go over your qualifications. And they have me out there in Spokane, Oregon. I know that's not right. But they have me out there in Spokane, Oregon, taking care of everybody that filled these forms out. And I have you on my schedule between 2 and 3. You going to be home for about 10 minutes during that time?
No, I'm not going to be home, actually.
Okay, what you got going on?
I got some doctor's appointments tomorrow. One I'm right at like 1:30, and it's like an hour away.
Okay, great. What time you think you might be back?
Man, I don't know when I'm going to be back.
Okay, well, great. I'll tell you what, I work till 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. I'll put you towards the end. I'll put you on my schedule between 7 and 8. It'll just take me 10 minutes. You think you'll be back by then?
Yeah, I'll be back.
Okay, great. I'll see you then. Bye.
Love it. And what's what? So obviously you speak with confidence.
Yeah.
What do you do about no shows? Like
Oh,
how do you prevent no shows on a 36-second script? And hopefully I'm not putting you on the spot too much.
Really, now the only thing that changes when I'm doing internet dials, like I'm doing instant internet leads, I will confirm the address. That's the only thing I do different. Like I'll call and I'll say, hey Jamie, this is Mike Shroades. I'm the one that got that form you filled out online when you was looking for life insurance the other day. And then I do the same exact thing. No trickery, man. I tell them this is why.
I got an older current address, 123 Main Street. Is that correct? Oh, that's old. Oh, perfect. Got it. Give me the updated address. Okay, thank you.
That's the only change. The only reason I don't do that on my mailers is because number one, they mailed it to this address and they filled it out and they put the same address down. I'm not going to waste that time. That's just me. I set 30 or 40 appointments every single week, and I have no difference of a no-show than anybody else.
Okay. I love it, man. I love it. A new agent who's on the phones, who's dealing with, I didn't fill that out. I'm not interested. My phone's blowing up with spam calls. What is your advice to somebody who's having that type of dial day? How would you coach them? What are some words you'd maybe give them? Because obviously you've got a nice short and sweet script. You take control. Hey, I'll be there. Okay, I'll be here too. But new agent doesn't have that confidence. They sound a little bit nervous on the phone. They pause at all the wrong times, and they welcome in that person to give them the objections. So what does that conversation look like for someone who's getting their butt kicked? I'm not interested. I didn't fill that out, which we know are all smoke screens.
Yeah.
How would you coach that agent?
Okay. Yeah. So really that is a confidence. And listen, these guys that we're calling, they get like 90 phone calls a day. Right. So I think that's a confidence issue. And I'll tell you what I did, Jamie. I kept my script printed. Like I can do it verbatim now. I do it in my sleep, but I kept my script printed right in front of me. And I had one blank, and that was for the name of the person that I was dialing. So I had my script and I had my lead, right? So here's my script. I would read it verbatim. Hey, Jamie, this is Mike, and I'm calling you. And what happens is when they start talking, I don't stop talking, right? So when they're like, oh, wait, no, and I'm still going, hey, Jamie, I'm the one that got that form. Hey, wait, no, what's this? I'm the one that got that form that you filled out. And I think you get better as you do this more. So don't, the number one thing I'd say is don't be intimidated by the fact that you're not very good. We all pretty much sucked on the phone when we first started. And I'm still not the best at anything in this business. Jamie, I just work hard and I've seen the fruits of working hard in this business. So because I work hard, I see the results. It just inspires me to keep working hard. So that's kind of how I would handle that. I would say, keep a script in front of you, work on gaining control. You're not going to get them all. It's okay. People are going to hang up on you. I set that expectation for them when I'm working with them. People are going to hang up on you. People are going to lie to you. People are going to say they didn't fill these out. And then what I try to encourage them to do is not to just listen to me, but like you said, that's why we have these live dials, Jamie, so people can get on there and they can hear Easton Padden overcome that objection. So then when Mr. New Guy or New Girl has an objection, hey, I heard what Easton said. They get to say it, they see success, and then that builds confidence in their phone abilities. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, they're in control on the phone. And Mr. Joe, who's answering the phone, has no choice but to let me come over.
That's it. control is everything, guys. It really is not having the perfect words. It's about having the right tonality, the right speed, not pausing and letting clients, take over when you're still trying to tell them who you are, why you're calling before you confirm that first piece of information. It's just, I'm in control and I'm coming over. So that's massive.
Hey, Jamie, can I just say something real quick? Because
Please.
you asked me about, you asked me to give some good suggestions for a new agent. Okay.
Please, yes.
Real quick. If you're taking notes, write this down. Number one, you have to get good at running a schedule. Commit to a schedule, stick to it. Number two, get good at buying and getting leads. Number three, get good on the phone. Number four, get good in the home. Number five, get good at getting on every training you can possibly get on. Go to national conventions, sales conferences, BOMs, go to all of them. And finally, start building from day one. That was the biggest mistake I made. I didn't start building until about 3 years into the business.
That's good, man. So what do we got? Let's go back over it one time. So we had schedule is obviously really important.
Get a schedule.
Get good at buying leads.
Yes, sir.
Get good on the phones. Get
Yep.
good in the home.
Yep.
Go to as many events as possible. And what am I missing?
Get good at getting on the trainings and start building a team right now.
Awesome. I love that. So you've kind of hit on most of those pretty much already in this order. So let's move to the next one, which is getting good in the home. So knock, knock, you're at the front door. Walk me to the kitchen table. Tell me what it looks like and just get us through your setting of the table and taking control of what this appointment's going to look like.
Okay. Yeah. I keep everything simple. You hear my phone script, how simple it is. My in-home is simple as well. Okay. I'm there as the professional. I now know that. When I first started, I didn't feel like the professional. I felt like I was horrible and my mind was all over the place. So when I go up to the door, Jamie, I have the iPad that I'm using to talk to you on. I take my phone with me. I carry the lead and a client worksheet. And this is it right here. I'm still old school. I carry everything. That's all I carry up there. When I first started, I would show up with a briefcase and papers about that thick at their door. And they'd look at my briefcase like, what is this? So I keep it real simple. I knock on the door. I used to kind of give it the old like that, And one day I heard Mike Killiman talk about some of y'all knock like cops. No lie, the next day I'm knocking on someone's door and I know I'm in like meth lab capital of the world. And I'm knocking on the door and the lady comes flying out the door. You knock like a cop. I'm not letting you in, So I started doing the Gary Pegues knock, more like that. So I give a friendlier knock. On my way, obviously I'm in the country a lot, so I'm always whistling and making sure I'm not about to get attacked, stuff like that. And I have been, no, I'm not going to share that. I might scare someone. So anyway, so yeah. And when I get to the front door, I'm always smiling. Today I'm not clean shaved. I'm in my office working, but I try to be clean shaved. I try to be presentable, but to be honest with you, like right now I got my Americo shirt on because I believe in writing for 8 and 10% bonuses. So I got my Americo shirt on and I'll have a pair of khaki shorts and some Hey Dudes. And that's usually how I show up. When they answer the door, I'm always trying to smile, but I tell them who I am. Hey, Jamie, I'm Mike. We spoke on the phone. I'm here about the mortgage protection appointment or for the state regulated final expense. I was like, oh yeah, come on in. The first thing I'd like to say is, hey, do I need to take my shoes off? Because, I'm in their home. And you know what? 5.5 years, I've done that 5.5 years, maybe 3 times someone's asked me to take my shoes off. So I think it's just a courtesy thing, especially if it's been raining out. And I know my wife doesn't like me tracking through the house. So, so when I'm there and there's a woman, then I know she's going to be mopping that floor up if I make a mess. Excuse me. So then what I do is I go in now. Now, here's what I do. If it's a mortgage protection and they're both supposed to be there, Jamie, I'm going to ask if I don't see both of them, I'm not going all the way to the table. My first question in there is, hey, is Mary around? Because if not, I'm not doing there's no sense in me getting to the table. At that point, I'm going to say, hey, I'll be back this way tomorrow between 2 and 3. But what I do, if they're both there and ready to go, I walk in the door and I say, hey, where's the table at? Because I have a computer I need to set up so that I can go over things with you. And because I get it just like you and just like the new agents. Hey, let's sit here on the couch and, we got gun smoke on and, or whatever. And let's sit here on the couch and we'll just talk and no, we're here for business. So I say, where's your table? Because I need a table and I need both of you here.
Walk me through. So let's break that down before you move on to the next part. So why do both of them need to be there? Like, explain what the bad part of a one-legger is and how you can sell it, but what it could turn into, or how you might not sell it because it's one-legger. And then also, why not to sit on the couch versus the table, other than you want to sit at the table for your laptop?
Right. Well, number one, the one leg, that means that there is only one spouse or what have you, 2 people living in the home, only one of them are present. Here's what's going to happen. Let's say it's a husband and wife. He's going to say, oh, I can make all the decisions. That's okay. So you sit there, you do the spiel, you give him everything. And then the next thing he says is, when you're asking for the commitment, well, I got to talk to my wife. And I'll explain it. And listen, no one can explain this better than you. You have the license. And both parties need to be there. And I'm going to tell you, 5.5 years, at least once a month, I give in. Still to this day, once a month, I'm like, I'll get this. I'm good. I'm Mike Shroades. I'll get this guy every time. And it's usually a sweet little old lady. Don't worry. I'm the one wanting this. My husband don't need to go over the whole thing. Boom. Yeah, I need to talk to my husband. And you just wasted your time. You could have been driving. It's a time robber is what it is. I've closed maybe 2 of those in 5 years, and I still get suckered in every now and then to doing it. Do you do it?
Too. I get suckered in every single month too. And then the other part is, sometimes you sell them. And guess what happens? Hey, I made a decision without talking to my wife, and now she's mad. And rather than continuing in this argument with my wife, I'm going to cancel this. We're actually going to get life insurance in like a month, but I got to cancel this just to stop the fight. So sorry about that. I shouldn't have made that decision without her. So I've been there too. So now let's talk about the kitchen table, because and here's the thing. I've sold appointments on the back of a truck bed. I've sold appointments sitting on a milk crate, sitting in a 40-acre field, looking out at the sunset. I've done appointments sitting on front porches in the snow. I've done appointments everywhere, but the kitchen table, there's something special about that just, it's almost like they're letting you into their world. And especially when you can get them at the kitchen table, sitting down with their arms uncrossed. Because I've gotten to the kitchen table and the husband won't sit down. He's got his arms crossed, leaning on the counter the whole time. But when I can get him to the table, it's like they've welcomed me into their world, and it's just something powerful can happen there. So what's your kind of experience with, why it's so important to get to the table?
Okay, well, it's so important because, in my opinion, that's where business is done. Why do I believe that? Okay, so those of you that are new, the next time you get to the table, I want you to look at what's on their table. I'll tell you what's going to be there. I mean, every now and then you have a nice house that's set up and you have dishes, what have you. But let me tell you what's going to be on that kitchen table. All their bills. That's where they do their business. When you go in and you get there and you sit at that table, you're saying to them, I'm here to conduct business. And I think that, to me, that is the chief thing. The other thing is, if you're somewhere else and they're controlling where you're sitting, see, to me, it's even in home is about being in control. They want you to sit at the couch. No, I'm not going to sit at the couch. We need to go to the table. It's me being in charge. Even though I'm nice when I get there, guess who's in charge of that house when I get there? Me. I don't care who pays the bills there, who's paying the mortgage. When I get there, Jamie, I'm in control. So I call the shots. Like if I get in there with a guy like this, like you just said, with his arms closed, I've learned to ask him, what's wrong? I'll ask him straight up. Matter of fact, I had a new agent in the field with me, and the guy stood up like this. I said, and I looked at the new agent. I said, I've already made him mad. Just like that. He said, no, I'm not. Arms went down, sold him a $200 a month policy, right? That is them protecting themselves from you because you're a salesperson. Once you either confront it or, and I'll tell you who I learned it from was Sean. We were in a conference. I mean, and Sean called some dude out sitting there at the conference just like this. Sean said, I can't get through to you if your arms are going to be crossed. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do that. And sure enough, Jamie, I did it. And but you know, I know that's a long answer, but
no, it's a fantastic answer, and I really appreciate that. I mean, you're sitting down with the husband and the wife, and it's like, so this is not a one-legger appointment, but you've got the husband's bought in, but the wife is not bought in, or vice versa. How do you bring the other person in? What's been your experience there to get them both fully engaged?
I'll tell you, I need both of you here. I can't do this with just one of you. Well, I'll explain it to her. She's going to keep cooking. No, I can't do it. I literally walked out of the house because she wanted to cook and he wanted to listen, and she's cooking, a little bit of an attitude, not wanting to listen. I said, look, I can't do it like this. I have to have both of you. If you're both not serious about this, just don't fill the forms out. And I got them walked out. And that's just how it was. She had a little bit of an attitude. I remember her very, very vividly. She had a walking around with an attitude, didn't want to talk, you know. So I just, if I can't meet both of them, I leave. And
the power of walking away. I mean, here's the deal, guys, is you don't have that kind of confidence to walk away when you have 7 appointments for the week. When you have 7 appointments for the week, you sit on one-leggers. When you have 7 appointments for the week, you'll talk to the husband while the wife cooks. When you have 7 appointments for the week, you will sit on you'll sit at the couch, you'll sit on the front porch, the milk crate, you'll do whatever. You won't take control. You'll let them be in control. And your 7 appointments will just put you in the doom loop, and you're not going to close anything. But when you got 40 appointments or 30 appointments, 20 appointments even, you now have that power where you can say, you know, I got 6 more families to see today. I'd rather go in the car and dial than deal with this one-legger right now. I got to go. I had an appointment the other day, a little bit different situation. I walk up to the front door and I go, hey, this is the form you filled out to my office. Hey, you actually filled out 2. So I had both from 2 different vendors. And like, you signed here, you signed there. The guy looks at me, grabs them out of my hand, crumples them up into a ball in front of my face. And he goes, all right, so what do you want? I go, yeah, that's not how this is going to work. I was like, here's the deal, man. I took time away from my family to come and sit down with your family. My family's really important to me. They're actually waiting on me. I'm skipping dinner right now to be here with you. And if this is not important to you to protect your family, then don't fill out the form again. And he goes, no, come back. Please come back. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. I'm sorry for being rude. And same deal. It was a couple $100 a month appointment. He just really, really did not want to be sold. He goes, you know what? I got like 15 of those forms in the mail, and I filled out all 15, and my phone has been blowing up nonstop. And you said you were the local guy, so I decided to let you come over, but I was still guarded. I'm sorry. And I had to reduce that sales pressure, but also be willing to walk away because I was serious. So it's powerful to be able to walk away. But I had plenty of appointments that day. I said, you know what? See ya. And he said, nope, please come back. So, all right, let's get back to it. You're at the kitchen table. Really quickly walk us through your open and setting of the table, and then we'll take some questions.
okay, yeah. So just to encourage them with what you just said. So I have 14 appointments tomorrow. I'm in charge of my schedule, right? Okay, so let's leave it at that. So I get there, I sit down, I get the lead, and I'll say, okay, hey, Jamie, this is the form you filled out, and I slide it over to him. Is that your writing? Yes, it is. Okay, great. So then I tell them this. Like I said, my name is Mike. I remind them of my name again. My name is Mike. A little bit about me. I'm from, like, if I'm local, I'll say I'm from Enterprise, just down the road. and I always say this, I normally don't get to work in this area, but we've been so busy with everything that they have me over here taking care of everybody today. I'm trained by about 30 different companies, and even the ones that you see on TV. So I dispel the TV right there. So I tell them, even the ones that you see on TV. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you some health and financial questions. I'm going to find which of those 30 companies you best qualify for. And then we're going to put an application through. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay, great. So here's what I need to know. First of all, Jamie, what is your full given name?
James Michael Cheerio.
Okay, so it's James, not Jamie. Okay, great. That's why I asked that, guys, because we want to make sure we get their given name.
I put in a lot of applications where I put their nickname in, and then I had to go send the application and redo it.
Yeah, especially when it's a high premium, it really sucks. So you don't get paid on it, and you got to go fix it. And then sometimes you don't get it fixed. So then what I'll do is I'll say, okay, how old are you right now?
28.
Okay,
I'm 58.
You're 58. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So do you use tobacco, Jamie?
I smoke a cigar like 3 times a year.
You smoke cigar. Okay, great. The reason I'm asking is because if you're healthy enough, I have some companies that won't charge you for smoking and they'll give you 3 years to quit. Are you interested in quit smoking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's probably not good for me.
So what company am I closing on right there? Does any
Americo.
Right. So I've already began. I'm thinking America. The guy smokes. America is going to give him the best rate. They're also going to charge him a non-smoking rate. He loves that idea because he's paying more for everything. The other thing. So then what I do before I go any further, obviously we need to know what they do, how they get their income, and how much. Right. So, but before I go any further, I'm going to do a soft close. Hey, Jamie, these come in a little cheaper if you have a checking account. I just need to know before I start looking at these companies, what do you pay with your bills with? Checking account, or do you use a debit and credit card?
Checking account.
Use a checking account. Great. Because our top 3 carriers only take checking accounts. So that's why it's important. Now, if they would have said debit card, I'm getting off of Americo and I'm probably going to Prosperity because they only ask about cigarettes. They don't ask if you smoke tobacco or a vape. They only ask about cigarettes. So my cigar smoker, I can still get a non-smoking rate. So now I'm taking them down the Prosperity road, but I know we're going to use a debit or a credit card or Direct Express. So that's kind of my reasoning behind doing that. So then I'm going to continue. Hey, Jamie, what do you do for a living?
I have a lawn care service.
Okay, great. How much do you make, Jamie, every month? What do you make as far as your income goes that Lisa would lose if you died on your way home tomorrow?
Probably net about 3,200.
Okay, great. And then I would go over and I'd ask Miss Lisa. So Jamie, Jamie, do you own your home or do you rent?
We own it.
Okay, you own it. So I'm acting like I'm in a final expense right now. Okay, so it's paid for. The bank doesn't owe. You don't owe the bank anything, right?
And we owe the bank a little bit. We probably owe like 100,000 on the house.
Okay, great. Well, here's what we need to do, Jamie. Sorry, I just had a total brain collapse. Sorry. Hey, Jamie, what we're going to do, first of all, this is my specialty right here, what we're getting to. Jamie, I'm an underwriter. I need to ask you about your health. Okay. So Jamie, and then I touch the parts of my body. You ready? Jamie, have you ever had a stroke, aneurysm? Any mes de loco en la cabeza, Jamie? Mucho loco, poquito loco?
No.
And they do that. They all chuckle. No, what's that mean? I was like, well, and then one of them will say, oh yeah, well, he is. And I'll say, usually the one answers is taking the crazy meds, ma'am. So then I just continue going down. I'll touch my heart. You ever had a heart attack? Any blood issues, HIV, any stents put in? If you ever had a lung problem, do you use a albuterol? Do COPD, anything? And then I'll touch my back like this. I'll say, any kidney, liver problems, dialysis? Have you ever had cancer? And they're all like, yes or no. So Jamie, this is something I've done for years and I love it. I'll touch my legs. I'll say, do your legs hurt from running from the popo? And they chuckle. And they'll, like, if they're 80 years old now, I'm like, my running days from the police are over. So yeah, or they'll say yes or no. And what that helps me find out, you're going to have DUIs, or you're going to have felonies, any drug use, anything like that. It's a fun way to because honestly, the most angry people I get are healthy felons.
Yeah, totally.
They're the angriest people. So then I asked the magic question, do you have anything that acts like life insurance? Well, what's that? Do you have any like old 401ks? I'll say, you got anything from $10,000 to $1 million tucked away anywhere? And they'll say, we got 2,000-3,000. No, I'm looking for, you know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for annuity money. So, and they'll say, well, yeah, I have $10,000 in savings. Great. Hey, I'm not here about that. What are you getting on that savings? 0.1%. What if I could get you about 9%? Yeah. So then I say, I'm not here for that. I'm here for your final expenses. I'm going to bring you an illustration next week and we'll go over, maybe see if I can help you with that. So I booked an appointment from an appointment. Okay. So then I ask them if they have any life insurance in place. When I get down to showing, what I'm going to offer them, I'll do 30. If I'm doing Americo, 30, 20, 10. I show them how it doubles with the free accidental. I show them the rate. I turn it to them and I say, which one best fits your budget? And I'll put the application through for approval. And I shut up and I don't say a word till they talk to me.
The middle one.
Okay, great. So here's what I need you to do. By state law, I have to identify you. I need you to get your driver's license and grab the checking account that you're going to use to make this payment with.
And if they get up from the table, guys, you made the sale. If they don't get up from the table, get your boxing gloves on, because here comes the objections.
That's
but
right.
if you ask, hey, which one? The middle one. Okay, go grab me your driver's license and avoid a check. And then I just look down at my paper and pretend like I'm writing something down. And if they don't say anything, I'll look back up at them and go, can you go grab your driver's license and the voided check? And I look right back down. And then they'll either get up or they won't. And at that point, if you got the sale. And if, they get up, start filling out the application and be ready for when they come back with the bank info. So that's good, Mike. Awesome. So we got some questions here. We'll try to get through as many of these as we possibly can.
Yeah.
How do you work through people who say they already have an insurance policy with somebody else?
Okay, great. I asked them, first of all, well, when did you get that? Because I want to know if it was recent.
Yeah, because it could be, hey, I got it a couple weeks ago and I'm still price shopping. Or it could be, I got this 15 years ago, and you go, well, when does it expire?
Yeah.
You ask questions like that. Or they go, oh, it's a whole life. Okay, cool. We're not going to touch that. Okay, so you obviously filled this out so you could strengthen your position, right? There's so many different ways you guys could handle that one, but it's no big deal. How to handle, think about it.
Okay, so you want are we talking at the table?
Let's do it at the table. I think it's the most common.
Okay, I need to think about it. Okay, Jamie, you told me you're 58. You have no life insurance. You've been thinking for 58 years about getting life insurance. Get it now, because if you have a heart, and this is what I do, I wave my hands over the form or over the client worksheet. If you have a heart attack, all this is off the table. And you go to a much higher, you go to one of those where you have to wait 2 or 3 years. And I said, I can get you day one coverage right now. And probably within the next 10 years, Jamie, something's going to happen that will take this away from you. Let's get it in place now. Because you're never going to get it any cheaper.
Guys, every client you sit with, it's the oldest they've ever been. the youngest they'll ever be, and probably the healthiest, most likely they're ever going to be again. So we get something in place. Grady used to tell me, if you say smart things to people and you use big vocabulary words from your insurance exam, people will think you're smart. So he goes, Mary, if you get this insurance policy and you get approved, you enter into a unilateral contract with Americo. You know what that means? That means that they can't take it away from you. That means if you have a heart attack in a month, nobody can take this from you. But now back to what Mike said, if you have a heart attack and you don't have this coverage, this is all off the table. We need to get something in place today. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, I agree. Okay, go grab. That's it. Right back to the thing. Now go grab me your driver's license. Got it. Okay. How do you deal with a couple that's arguing with each other while you're selling?
Well, number one, I'm not there to be referee, and I stay out of their fight. That's the best advice I can give you, as far as, because you want to, you're going to be tempted to take sides with the person that is for buying the insurance, right?
Yep.
Tell you, I use a little reverse psychology. Sometimes I'll side with the person that doesn't want to buy it. I don't know why it works, but like, if you got a dude with an ego and the wife just saying, why don't you just we need this. And he's like, we don't need it. Well, I'm like, maybe you don't, I don't know. Maybe he's right, Mary. Let's just look at your Let's look at your finances one more time. Go over the finances. He realizes he needs it.
Yeah.
But you took his side.
Mm-hmm.
But normally I stay out of it, to be honest with you.
Sure. Sometimes I go, hey guys, you guys are obviously thinking about it right now. I'm gonna step out real quick and make a quick call. I'll be right back in 5 minutes.
Well, here's what I do sometimes, Jamie. In that situation, I'll say, hey guys, you don't have anything yet. Let me get you approved.
Yep.
I'll give you 30 days to look it over after that. And they think I'm giving it to them. Heck, it's a state law. You know that.
Yep.
And I could say, I'll give you 30 days. You all sit down. And those guys never, I don't know why they don't cancel. Once you get them, they don't cancel. They don't even read it. Don't even open it.
All right. We're going to be a little rapid fire on these last couple. At what point do you bring emotion into the conversation during the appointment?
Well, emotion has to be on their end. I stay pretty calm. If I feel like they need a little emotional tug or a little emotional push, I might share a story. Like I have a story, friend of mine from West Virginia. I went to high school with her. She called me and said, hey, I want to write a policy on my mom. I see you're selling insurance. Yeah. I'm sitting in the airport after the Hall of Fame Road to Integrity meeting. I write the policy on a Wednesday. The lady died Saturday. And that's a true story. So
wow,
I share that a lot.
Yeah, that's powerful. I've had many times where things like that have happened too. Two people asking a very similar question. One from Lillian, what level should I start building a team? I'm not a 20 family producer yet. And then Richard, how to build a team from day one if I don't know anything and I can't help other people when they're in the home because I don't know enough yet.
Okay, you have Jamie, you have guidelines. I mean, I'll tell you what I do. Jamie has his, I'm sure the way he runs his business, I'll tell you what I do. If you're brand new, I tell you to call me from the house every single time anyway. Call me from the home, I'm going to help you. That way we don't have to worry about product knowledge. The other thing you need to understand, this isn't about them buying a product. This is about them liking you. When they like you, they buy insurance from you. Okay. Can you reword that one more time?
That's okay. So it was, at what level should I start building a team?
Yes.
The first question. And then I think you answered the second one, which is just call your manager in the home. And also, if you are building a team, that person can call your manager too. This is not positional leadership where you have to be the in-between, like where I have to ask Mike permission to coach his new agent. Like I'm going to coach every new agent that comes into the business that wants my help. It doesn't matter if you recruited them or not. So we're here to help everybody. And then, at what level should you start building a team?
Start day one. If you haven't written your first policy, start telling your friends what you're doing. The other thing is make sure everything you're doing, put it on social media within the FTC guidelines. The reason is you have friends that'll start watching you and you won't need to recruit them. They'll come to you when they see your life change. And I'm going to tell you, that's been the biggest thing for me. If people just see my life changing.
That's it. Okay, this one's from Josh, new agent. Why come back next week to push another sale rather than attempt at the original appointment? I think he's speaking of the annuity opportunity.
Yeah, I think number one, you need to stay focused on why you're there. Okay, that's the number one thing for me. I'm here for mortgage protection. Let's set that up. Now you can run the annuity while you're there if you would like to, but I don't want to be at someone's house 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
And when I first started in the business, I'd be there 3 hours and not get a sale, right? So the important thing is, let's come back. Let me get the illustration. You're there for an entirely different reason, and you're not trying to. Let me warn you, whoever just said that, or asked that question, don't try to hit a home run in every house you're in. Hit singles. Singles will win you games.
Totally.
Home runs will get canceled.
Yeah. Sean Ruggiero calls it a tidal wave sale, where I sell the wife, the husband. It's like, because I can, I sell them both mortgage protection, and then I throw in 2 final expense plans, and then somehow I get an annuity on top, and I walk out with this massive sale. Then every single thing cancels 2 days later because it's a tidal wave. It was way too many decisions all at once. So
Yep.
The reason we do the annuity in a separate appointment, like he said, is just it's a totally different conversation, and it's also a totally different setting of the table. So you go get your illustration from AMS, you come back, it's a completely different deal. We're talking about their retirement, their finances, not their life insurance. So that was a good question, Josh. My last question for you, Mike, we talk about this idea of like be here a year from now. And there's people who quit before that first year. I think there's people who quit before they understand how good they can actually get at this business. I think most people probably quit in their first 90 days. What would your advice be to somebody if the goal was to be here a year from now, but not just to be here a year from now surviving, but to be here a year from now and they've gotten better, they're thriving, they're getting great ROI on their lead purchases, they're helping 10 families a week. Like how are we thriving, not just surviving a year from now?
Okay, so starting today, I want y'all to make a commitment that you're not going to complain. Just don't complain. And if you have people that are kind of being negative, and when I was pastor, we called it the Church of God hotline. They call you with, brother, don't share. Don't listen to people that are being critical, because those are the people that aren't working. Listen to people that are working. And if you're going to take advice, here's the first question you ask them. How much did you issue pay last month? If that number's not over 20,000, I prefer for my guys not to talk to them, because those are usually people that aren't working. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of set that tone right away. So did that answer the question?
That did answer the question. I love it, guys. Fill your head with positivity.
Yeah.
Listen to the right people. The whole idea, who do you listen to? Listen to people who've done what you're trying to do, not people who've been trying to do what you're trying to do for the last 2 years. People who are actually doing it. You need to talk to people who are doing 20, 30, 40 families a month, not the guy who's helping 7 families a month that's a product expert in, all the group texts and the Slack channel, but the people who are leading from the front with activity. That's who you should be getting your advice from. So, Mike,
can I say just one more thing?
Please.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just one more thing. If you're new to this, don't develop I always tell people, don't develop an opinion. When you start developing opinions about things that you don't know much about, those opinions are going to be wrong, and it'll mislead you. So just be careful about the opinions that you develop. You're going to have bad days, but if you'll set 30 appointments a week, you'll have bad weeks, but I promise you'll never have a bad month. And I think it's really important that you understand that.
Phenomenal. That's the mic drop moment. We're going to end on that, guys. So, Mike, thank you so much. We appreciate you. If you guys got some value out of Mike dropping MS in the comments, and Mike, we just appreciate you so much. Everybody have an amazing night. We got Tuesday, Wednesday run days, and then we're back for Dial Day on Thursday. So appreciate y'all. We'll talk to y'all soon. See you next week.